well played 20 minutes here at Value City Arena. Aaron Kraft and the Buckeyes trying to remain perfect. They have a 10-point lead on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Glad to have you along for the ride with Jim Jackson. I'm Eric Collins. Ohio State, they were tested in the first half. They ended up playing really well in the last 2 minutes.
Able to close out the half on a high note defensively, because this team kind of let Nebraska hang around by no fault of their own, because Nebraska was able to execute, I thought, pretty well in the first half. But late in the game, late in the half, Ohio State really clamped down and made it Nebraska really uncomfortable, converted turnovers for points, and that's how they were able to stretch out this lead.
If you missed any of it, let's take a look at the All-State Mayhem Index. It's all about the mayhem caused by the Buckeye defense.
Well, first of all, Eric, any defensive team, you have to be in position to play defense, and that's something that Ohio State does. They close the court down, and then once you're in position, you have active hands. Active hand deflections. Now you throw your opponent off. They don't feel comfortable. They're a little bit rushed. And Ohio State, then the third part of being a very good defensive team is gathering the basketball, then being able to convert out in transition to reward yourself for the effort that you've given on the defensive end of the court.
Here's our 5-hour energy first half stats. Ohio State shooting 50%, right on the nose. Nebraska started up hot shooting. That's dipped down to 43%. And Ohio State getting convincingly out-rebounded 20-3. Advantage Nebraska. Second half play in a moment from Ohio State. Welcome back, everyone. Value City Arena. Nebraska, the visitors from Lincoln. They'll start on offense if they can inbounds this ball. Pressure from Ohio State unrelenting. With Jim Jackson, I'm Eric Collins. Nebraska looking for their first conference win. They started on the road. First 2 conference games away from Pinnacle Bank Arena. Head away, hits the shot. If they're going to get back in this game, he needs a big second half.
Not only him, but Nebraska. But that excellent execution coming out of the halftime into a pick and roll for your team's best scorer. Now let's see if they can bring that back with a defensive effort, get a stop, keep the momentum going offensively.
Good pass inside, and Williams hammers it home with the foul.
Patience on the pick and roll, allowing it to develop. But that time, the back line of the Nebraska Cornhusker defense kind of fell asleep. Someone has to be there to rotate early when you see Amir Williams diving down the lane.
7 points now for the former McDonald's All-American out of Detroit Country Day. Amir Williams coming alive here as a junior, much improved. Leslie Smith inside. Smith started the game in place of Walter Pitchford. Now he starts the second half in place of Pitchford, who did play significant minutes off the bench in the first half.
I love that play that time by Webster, because he attacked Ohio State before they got set. And that's how he was able to dart in the lane, and then Smith gave him a passing angle to receive the ball to get an easy layup inside.
Again, Ohio State feeding the post, and Amir Williams rewards Thad Matta. He'll go to the free throw line. Let's take a look at the Reese's perfect combination. And it's the backcourt for Ohio State.
We always talk about defensively how they're able to disrupt opponents, but Shannon Scott, when he's shooting the basketball with confidence, he provides another outlet, so to speak, offensively for Ohio State, because generally you're accustomed to Shannon kind of putting the ball on the deck and attacking. When he's knocking down that jump shot, it gives you another dimension on the perimeter.
Shannon Scott, his freshman year, took 18 three-pointers and made 1. This is a guy who maybe some people wondered if he'd ever figured it out from the perimeter. He has. He's now made 15 three-pointers in 15 games on the year for Ohio State. And another tough shot made by Teran Petaway.
But this is how Nebraska began this game. Okay? They were able to swing the basketball, then attack off the dribble. They got a little hesitant. They got, I think, a little secure in what they were doing late in the first half, and allowed Ohio State's defense to dictate what type of shots they were going to take.
2 minutes into the second half. Ohio State trying to get to 15-0. Quentin Ross working against the freshman. Nothing doing there. Now Kraft has to fire. Oh, that beats the shot clock buzzer. A long 2 for Kraft.
First, it was excellent defense by Ty Webster by cutting off the baseline of a Quentin Ross. And as we've seen in the past, Aaron Kraft is not afraid to take the shot at the end of the shot clock, okay? And he's accustomed and he's very good at knocking down those type of shots.
Not afraid to take a shot at the end of the game, too. Remember the NCAA tournament. Gallegos can't handle the pass. Kraft's got it. Lenzel Smith over to Ross, and a travel as he got his drive started, shuffled the shoes.
Talking to Tim Miles yesterday, one of the things he talked about with his team is going to be a challenge here is you see Aaron Kraft at the end, and you see the shot clock going down, awareness that he does have. He said we have to have clear and crisp passes.
5-second violation. Nebraska can't inbound the ball.
And Siobhan Shields has to have a clock inside his head, knowing that once you get to 4, you inbound it or you call a timeout. So a lot of it may be that his teammates couldn't get open, but as the inbounder, you have to have that internal clock.
Now the Buckeyes have a hard time getting it inbound, but they do. Home conference opener for Ohio State. They beat Purdue on the road a couple of days ago, and a big reason why was LaQuinton Ross. He had 25 and 12 against Purdue. He's now up to 8 points here against Nebraska.
And a big part of this Ohio State offense is pick and roll offense. You force teams to have to switch, and a lot of times when you switch on the perimeter, if your communication is not there, a guy like LaQuinton Ross can sneak open for a nice little open jump shot.
Petaway. Oh, got a hand in his face. And it's Buckeye basketball. Lead is 13. It's the largest lead of the day. Petaway. Not bashful.
Not bashful, but not a good shot. You didn't have any kind of offensive balance in regards to offensive rebounds. So in transition like that, you just bailed Ohio State out because you had somewhat of an advantage if you would have worked the ball around a little bit more.
Ten seconds on the shot clock. Ross again rattles in a 3. Now 11 points for number 10. And the Buckeye lead, the largest of the afternoon, up by 16. Can the Buckeyes keep on keeping on? Back to Value City Arena in a moment. Yeah, second half, LaQuinton Ross has stepped up, already nailing a couple of three-pointers.
Well, part of being a really good defensive team is having communication. We freeze it right here. The back man has to communicate early to that Siobhan Shields to Petaway to say, listen, we're switching this pick and roll, which allows Petaway to get up a little bit closer to LaQuinton Ross, who you know loves to pick and pop. Okay, so it's the back guy, the guy that's about to set the pick. He has to communicate early in order for the screener so he can get back into play and not allow a guy like LaQuinton Ross to have space to shoot.
At this level, are you allowed to call switch like you would do if you're playing in a wide MCA game? Well, yeah, or is this something that's on a scouting report?
Well, they know the game plan. In particular, when you have Aaron Kraft with the ball, you pretty much want to go underneath the screen. And you can switch that way because you know he's reluctant to take that shot, in particular off the dribble.
Amir Williams bottle up inside, finally clears the traffic and dumps it in over his head. 10 points now for Williams. Much improved performance from what happened to him a couple of days ago against Purdue.
Well, he showed a lot of patience. I think earlier in the year, even last year, he may have committed a turnover, traveled, or just threw up a shot. A little bit more patient as he's gotten more mature in his basketball game.
Gallegos hit a couple of early threes. He's been quiet since. Williams this time hits the underside of the rim. Cornhuskers need a bucket, and they can't get it. Williams blocks Webster inside. Scott racing the other way. And a foul. Shannon Scott will go to the free throw line. Amir Williams. Amir without peer inside the junior. 14:23 remaining. Ohio State on top of Nebraska by 18 points.
I talked about the maturity and the growth of Amir Williams. Watch right now. 2 feet are in the paint. That's where you want to be if you're a big man, okay? Now the patient. You allow the defense to clear out instead of making your move while Briggs was still there. You were patient enough to let the play develop. Now, I thought Walter Pittsburgh was in very good position, good defense, but ultimately the size and the strength of Amir Williams was able to prevail on that particular play.
Shannon Scott hits the first of 2 free throws. Amir Williams limited to just 14 minutes on Tuesday against Purdue. Had a bit of a food allergy, also had foul trouble. Nothing really went his way. And the center that everyone was talking about after that game was not Amir Williams, it was A.J. Hammonds.
And when A.J. Hammonds is focused, I mean, I had the game a couple years ago when, last year when they played against Indiana at Purdue, and he had a huge game, 30-plus points, and kind of gave it to Cody Zeller and the rest of the bigs there at Indiana. He can shoot the basketball, block shots, excellent footwork down below, but it's just a consistency thing with Hammonds.
Nice stick-to-itiveness. Deverell Biggs now with 4 points. Got it inside and got it over Trey McDonald.
Good move by Biggs. And I'd like to see them get Ray Gallegos back involved in this game because he's such an outstanding shooter. He puts a lot of pressure on your perimeter defense. And if he can get going, that'll open up more driving lanes for Shields and Biggs and Pettaway as well.
Sam Thompson in the game for Ohio State. Shot clock down to 8. Kraft looking for help. Ross inside. And it's Nebraska ball.
Well, that's one defensive stop. That's what you need if you're Nebraska. You score, you get a stop, you come down, you execute your offense, get another high percentage shot. That's how you can inch your way back into this basketball game.
Nebraska coming off a 2-game losing skid. Lost in Cincinnati, their final non-conference game. And then lost in Iowa City by 10 on Tuesday, their conference opener. Now hockey returns at the debut of Frozen Fridays. First Ohio State taking on Michigan State, and then you've got Michigan and Wisconsin, a couple of ranked teams. BTN Frozen Fridays presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Returns Friday night on BTN and BTN to go. First year of Big Ten hockey play. Get your hockey on. Amadeo Della Valle comes into the game. But Quentin Ross goes to the bench.
What Pettaway gives to this team is not only just a shooter, but a guy that can create his own shot off the dribble, which Nebraska didn't have. So that bodes well because a lot of times last year Nebraska would get caught by the shot clock and not able to get a high percentage shot. But with Pettaway, he's able to beat you. You can step out and shoot it, or as you see, he loves to attack the basket.
Della Valle. Oh, the swooping layup inside, and he draws the foul. Looked like Julius Erving in the way he just kept that ball away from his body and worked the foul.
Great recognition by Della Valle by turning down the screen and basically ripping it through the baseline. This time, Ray Gallegos anticipating the screen, kind of jumping to the high side, exposing the baseline for a dribble drive. Again, baseline rotation was not there for Nebraska.
You think he gets the comparison with Julius Erving a lot?
No, not at all. You gave it to him.
In that one instance.
You think he knows who's Julius? If you say Julius Erving to Della Valle, do you think he knows who he is?
No.
I don't think so either. He'll probably look at you with a blank stare like, really? Who is that?
Nebraska trying to get back into this one. Wraparound pass, and it's too strong for Smith. Can't handle it.
Yeah, too strong, but too close a quarters to kind of make that pass. You got a diving big man, and you're trying to shuffle a pass inside. You kind of put him in a precarious situation to catch, gather, and score.
Freshman Loving And a foul called on Trey McDonald, setting a screen, trying to get Sam Thompson free. Tomorrow on BTN, hit the hardwood with 3 exciting conference matchups. You got Northwestern in Ann Arbor taking on Michigan. You got Purdue in Minnesota at Williams Arena in Minneapolis. And then you got a couple of ranked teams closing it out at 8 p.m. Iowa and Wisconsin. BTN basketball tipping off tomorrow at noon, and we'll take you through the day. Nice shot there, Biggs. Hits it from 18 feet. He's got 6 points off the bench. Skip pass in the corner. This is Thompson going baseline. And Thompson would have been something. Comes up empty. This Biggs kid, I'll tell you what, out of Omaha Central High School, he could score.
Well, he has experience, too, and that's why I think you see him in the lineup right now. He's kind of settled the offense down of Nebraska, but he's exploited his ability to get to the basket and also, more importantly, to finish.
Same high school as Ahman Green. Whoa, inside. Wonderful dribbling by Kraft with the finish. 9 points.
Big got caught with his hand in the cookie jar that time by trying to pluck the ball from behind.
Nebraska down 16. Petaway. Shields has been quiet. Here's Shields inside, and he's pushed from behind by Aaron Kraft. For Ohio State, that's just the 3rd team foul. Buckeyes with a nice lead. 3rd-ranked team in the country try to remain there or possibly move up. Let's take a look at today's Motorist Insurance Drive to the Hoop.
I thought this defensive possession was pretty good at the beginning for Nebraska, but it goes to show you that everybody is critical and you have to do your job. If you freeze it right here, Petaway has to get back inside knowing that Sam Thompson is not a three-point shooter. But because he jabs at him and doesn't stop the ball, now it breaks down what the defense was already able to do, which is contain the dribble.
Aaron Kraft, 9 points, now has 1,112 Ohio State points in his 4-year career. And a steal. Mark Loving looking like a young Aaron Kraft with those hands in the mix. Open look, Della Valle. It's been a nice game for him off the bench. 10 points for Della Valle, and the lead is back up to 19.
The steal, the advanced pass up the court now gives you a 2-on-1 opportunity on the weak side.
Straight ahead three-pointer. Petaway hits it. A little bit of everything offensively for Petaway.
No, he can play. I mean, he's attacking you in a lot of different ways. He just needs a little bit more help from his teammates to put some more points on the board. But more importantly, they have to stop Ohio State.
Loving picks up his dribble and is pushed to the floor.
I think right here, Leslie Smith was just a little bit too lackadaisical. But here's the key. The pass up the court, advance pass. Now you have a 2-on-1 for the Buckeyes on the weak side. You can't rotate in time to get to Della Valle.
Very early. Very early. Just 2 months into his college career. But with that stroke and the result, there's a chance when it's all said and done that Mark Loving could be among the all-time leaders at Ohio State in free throw percentage. He has made 31 of his first 37 college free throws. He's at 85% as an 18-year-old.
Solid all-around game, comes from a very good program in Toledo, Ohio. His growth has been seen from his teammates and the coaching staff because he puts in the work. And again, his minutes are going to be earned in practice, but also when he's on the court, does he hurt or help the team? And right now, in the course of the non-conference and early in the Big Ten season, he's only solidified that a little bit more, that he can help the team.
Leslie Smith, good rebound. And he gets rewarded, gets himself 2. I like this kid. 9 points for the SMU transfer.
And when Nebraska was in the game earlier as well, second shot points were huge. They were able to get the offensive rebounds and then convert. As you see Leslie Smith using that big body inside to get an easy two.
Nine minutes to play. Buckeyes trying to get to 2-0 in conference. Della Valle! 3 more! 13 points off the bench. And that's a threat that the Buckeyes don't normally have. Just a lights-out shooter from distance. But Della Valle, that's his role on the team. And if he can be consistent with the jumper, that'd be a big lift for Thad Matta and the Buckeyes. Auto Owners Insurance game leaders finds Della Valle leading the team in scoring with 13. Hasn't missed a shot.
But that time, Hawkins, a young player, you have to stay attached. You know Della Valle is coming up to receive the pass. That time, too much airspace in between.
Biggs, Hawkins, Gallegos, Petaway, and Smith, the 5 on the floor for the Cornhuskers. And another offensive rebound for Smith. Rebounding-wise, Buckeyes, they're getting blitzed. 27-18, Nebraska out-rebounding Ohio State. And it results in 2. And the appropriate man got it. Leslie Smith earned that bucket by getting the offensive rebound.
Well, he's been working hard. He's been earning his money, so to speak. That time, Petaway lost control, but able to find Leslie diving down the gut of the defense.
And a poke away. Smith called for the foul. He thought he got that steal clean, but it's going to be against Nebraska. Amadeo Della Valle, a team-high 13 points. The Buckeyes up 17. Amadeo Della Valle, he's got 13 points. The Buckeyes, they've got 26 points off the bench to just 10 points off the bench for Nebraska.
We talked about it earlier about how bench play can elevate a team, but also provide you confidence. Because, again, through the course of the Big Ten season, injuries happen, foul trouble. You need to have reliable bodies coming off the bench that can give you stability when your starters maybe not playing well, or, like I said, with the other things that may happen during the course of the game.
Loving inside, score the goal, and he's fouled. Chance for the three-point play for Mark Loving.
And that time on the closeout, just a little late. That time by Siobhan Shields, not in position, which allows the angle that Mark Loving was able to get to the basket.
That's the 5th foul on Siobhan Shields. He is fouled out with 7:28 left to play.
Not one of Siobhan's better games, because we came to anticipate a lot more because of what he was able to do last year. I think through non-conference, a very talented young man, expecting some big things, but this afternoon could never really get into rhythm, offensively, defensively. That foul right there was just a part of not being in sync, I think. The footwork, he was just a little bit late. Now you have to watch the remaining 7.5 minutes from the bench.
Buckeyes now have 5 players in double figures, and 2 of those players came off of Thad Matta's bench. Amadeo Della Valle and Mark Loving, both with productive days as reserves. Petaway, quick trigger. Lead is 20 for Ohio State. This ties their high water mark.
We talked about productivity, but this Ohio State team, keep in mind, 2 starters are in double figures. The rest are not. But you have multiple players that can come in and give you numbers.
Kind of sloppy basketball right now, but it leads to a clean look for Loving. Can't hit it. And a foul going for the rebound called on Della Valle.
Ohio State foul on number 33.
Does Thad Matta, 15 games into this season, know who's going to be his end-of-the-game option? If the Buckeyes have a game that's going to come down to a last-second shot, does he know where he wants to go with that ball? Has he figured that out halfway through the year?
Well, I think he has options. Okay, they haven't been in that situation yet, but I do know that he runs particular plays like most coaches do at the end of the shot clock, at the end of a half, just to see if it works and who they're going to put in those situations. Again, you'll never know and he'll never know until they get in that situation, but you prepare for that in a number of different ways.
Shot missed by Hawkins. And the Buckeyes continue to press the action. Could have been a dunk for Thompson, but the pass was behind him. Yeah, remember the Buckeyes, they're playing without Deshaun Thomas, the Big Ten's leading scorer last year. Left school early. And the Buckeyes still haven't lost without him. Trying to get to 15-0, 2-0 conference. Coming up next, more Big Ten hoops. You got Penn State and Illinois. That game down in Champaign. Coverage starts right after our game, presented by 5 Hour Energy. It's on BTN and BTN to go. Nice round of applause for Della Valle as he goes to the bench.
Well, Ohio State is not like any other team that loses one of their big-time score. As you see Mark Loving getting to the basket again. What happens is, here's a guy like Deshaun Thomas that can score in multiple ways. You know what you're going to get each and every game, but he can also get those tough baskets when you need them. And Ohio State has to figure out, when there's a grinded-out kind of game, how they're going to get those little tough baskets when you really can't get to the paint. I mean, shoot jump shots. You see, again, excellent footwork that time by Loving, and that's the issue when you replace or try to have to replace a guy like Deshaun Thomas, because of not just the points, but when he was able to get those points was what I think was probably more important.
And no disrespect to Deshaun Thomas, was one of the all-time greats at Ohio State. But the Buckeyes losing their best offensive player, but probably also losing their worst defensive player. And this year's team is all about
to his
defense.
credit, he got better from his freshman year to his junior year. The willingness to play defense. You see a good move that time by Biggs inside. He got better. Okay, but that just wasn't his forte, and the coaching staff knew that.
Now, they always come in waves. Ohio State welcoming in these 4 freshmen next year. Recruiting's never really been an issue for Thad Matta.
When you have a track record of winning and winning big, you have guys that go on to play in the National Basketball Association, the reputation precedes itself.
Well, but the thing about it is before he had that reputation, he was able to get Greg Oden out of Indianapolis, Mike Conley, that recruiting class that kind of put him on the map. He hadn't proven himself at Ohio State to be the coach that he is nowadays, but he got those guys came in, and all of a sudden the expectation level changed.
Well, it did, and a lot of it has to do with him, but also his coaching staff, the pedigree at Ohio State allowed him to do that. You know, you talk about recruiting, and I love Coach Miles. It's going to be interesting to see how, within the structure and framework in Nebraska, you kind of go out and get those players that fit the mold, because he wants to play an up-tempo style, which a lot of young men like. So the ability to get those kind of players here at Nebraska is going to be a challenge, but I think Coach Miles puts himself in a position to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about this Cornhusker program. When you talk about facilities that Tim Miles has to offer potential recruits, they've got a wonderful brand new facility in which they've never lost, Pinnacle Bank Arena, one of the 8 wonders of the world. They've got a practice facility which is tricked out.
Well, the practice facility, honestly, I think when they entered into the Big Ten, and a lot of these Big Ten schools got a glimpse of what it was, it kind of made them step up their game. I mean, Ohio State redid their practice facility. Michigan did. Wisconsin. A lot of teams stepped it up after viewing, what Nebraska had to offer.
Ty Webster missed the shot, but got back on defense and got the steal. This is another reason why the future is bright for Nebraska. Just an 18-year-old. Ty Webster will be 18 this entire season. One of the youngest players in the conference.
His biggest challenge is knowing when to go, when to pull back, because he has everything to use. Secondary break. Transition that time by Ohio State, able to freely pass the basketball, which now allows for an open cut down the lane by Shannon Scott. But I do think Webster has the ability, Eric, with his body, his size, his knowledge, to be a very, very good point guard. It's a matter of finding that confidence within the system. You know, trial by fire. This is a tough game and a tough league. But I know Coach Miles and the coaching staff will continue to encourage Ty to play at his best.
Walter Pitchford picks up the dribble, hands it off to Gallegos. Closing in on the 4-minute mark of this one. Second conference game for both Nebraska and Ohio State. Nebraska starting off on the road. Road game at Carver Hawkeye at Iowa City. And now here at Value City Arena. Pitchford is fouled. Couple of free throws for Walter Pitchford when we come back. Thad Matta's Buckeyes trying to get to 2-0 in conference. Dave, thank you so much. That's fun just thinking about the games coming up throughout the days to come. Wall-to-wall Big Ten basketball as the conference tipping off in style. The first week of conference play, and you take a look at what Ohio State is dealing with this year. They're going to play Michigan State twice, including a game at Michigan State on Tuesday. They've got Iowa twice, but then some other heavy hitters they played just once. They play the Badgers once. That one is going to be in Madison. They played Michigan and Indiana just once apiece.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I'd love, again, I'm dating myself, of course, but the time when you played everybody twice, home and home. I mean, it didn't give one school an advantage over another. You think about if you're Wisconsin, you have those teams at home once, and Ohio State at home once. I think it was Michigan State or their other game at home. It's one other team within the conference, and maybe Michigan State, that they have at home. Okay, so it's I know it's computer driven and things like that, but I just like the challenge when you have the ability to play somebody twice on your home court as opposed to just traveling to theirs.
It's the final Big Ten season with the 12 teams. Trey McDonald got inside. Of course, next year Rutgers and Maryland welcomed into the fold.
That throws another glitch in the matrix from a scheduling perspective.
Youngster Webster bottled up. Cornhuskers moving around the perimeter.
You know, it's interesting. Ray Gallegos not even looking at the rim. I mean, here's a guy that's been known to put up big numbers.
And Webster learned the hard way what not to do against Aaron Kraft. Missed shot inside. Biggs missed the finger roll and then missed the tap. And Petaway can't bail him out. Tough possession for Nebraska.
Well, that's kind of indicative of what happened with this Nebraska team against Iowa. Talking to Coach Miles, said they were like 4-19 with inside the paint on the road. You know, those kind of shots right there where you have an opportunity, another opportunity, but you just can't seem to complete the play.
Lenzel Smith going to go to the free throw line. Now for Nebraska, if you're a Cornhusker fan, you will eventually play a home game in conference. Tim Miles is wondering what gives. First two games in Big Ten play, both on the road, but then they're going to be home against Michigan on Thursday. Have not lost at Pinnacle Bank Arena, 7-0. Then they've got Ohio State at home. That's coming up quick, January 20th.
That Michigan game, we had the game the other night, Michigan, Minnesota. Michigan able to go on the road in a tough environment where Minnesota played extremely hard, but late in the game, how about the young freshmen? Plural. Derek Walton stepping up. Zach Irvin stepping up for an injured.
15 points.
Glenn Robinson the third. So, it doesn't get easier for Nebraska, but they're at home. Pinnacle Arena will be rocking. The fans will be out. So, an opportunity to kind of correct the errors in these first couple of games, get their feet settled at home, and, you know, hopefully they can try to come up with an upset if you're Nebraska.
Aaron Kraft leaves the game for a final time. He's going to finish with a classic Aaron Kraft line. 9 points, 4 assists, a couple of rebounds, and oh, what's new? 3 steals. Aaron Kraft, the Quicken Loans, amazing performance. Once again, no turnovers. Hadn't committed a turnover in 2 Big Ten games.
But like any great play, okay, the first thing you have to do is be an acceptance of your role and who you are as a player and know who you are. When you do that, you're able to go out on the court each and every game and do what you do best and not try to do too much. You know, in today's world, it's the me, where guys are really trying to go out there and score and get to the NBA as quick as they can. Well, when you have players that understand who they are and how they play, they're much more efficient. They run the team, and they do all the little things that sometimes don't show up in the stat sheet.
His third, team's 10th. Mark Fleming at the line for Ohio State.
A lot of wins between those two guys right there. Lenzel Smith and Aaron Kraft both going to move to 109 Buckeye wins in their 4 years.
Substitutions for Nebraska.
You can just imagine how Thad Matta is able to sleep at night knowing, okay, my backcourt, I'm so comfortable. 4-year guys, Lenzel Smith and Aaron Kraft, 2 winning guys who make shots, guys who make other guys better, and guys who don't turn the basketball over.
Eric, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think any coach sleeps at night. I mean, I swear to God. I mean, I really don't, because it's always one of those pressure cooker situations where you're always worried about the next thing or whatever it is. Now, it does ease the burden a little bit to have that kind of backcourt, but, geez, you talk to some of these coaches, and rest is something that just doesn't fit into the equation.
Jake Lorbach into the game, finishing out this one for Ohio State. Just grabbed a rebound a moment ago. And a turnover for Ohio State. We've got more basketball coming up. Penn State on the road. That's an explosive Penn State team. We've seen them. They could score in bunches with that backcourt of Frazier and Johnson and Newbill. They're going to take on Illinois in Champaign.
As you see throughout college basketball, it's more of a guard-oriented situation with a lot of teams going with 3 guards. And like Penn State, you really don't have the inside presence, so you're relying a lot on your perimeter players to handle most of the scoring burden. But like Ohio State and a lot of other teams, you see Della Valle patient on the screen and roll. You need to get some points in the paint.
Perfect day continues from Della Valle. He had missed a shot, 5 for 5. Sergey Vucetic is fouled inside, and the 7-footer will shoot 2 free throws.
I tell you what, this Nebraska team, if Brandon Newbill would have accepted 1 year, I always said this, of his red shirt and maybe returned another year, because his improvement as far as a big inside, he had gotten so much better by the end of last year that if he had that 1 more year, you put his body with this team here, now you get a different little dynamic of a scoring punch for Nebraska.
Vucetic now 0 for 5 at the free throw line in his career. That's his holy grail, still looking for that free throw.
1 minute remaining in the game.
Buckeye lead is 29. Lorbach a fan favorite. Parker goes coast to coast. And Ohio State going to finish this one out with Della Valle passing to Scott to McDonald. Maybe the final shot we'll see this afternoon. Rebound by McDonald, and the Buckeyes will walk it up the court. Ohio State can improve to 12-0 at home, 15-0 overall, and now 2-0 in conference play. A win on the road at Purdue, and a win here at home against Nebraska. Next up, things are going to get a little bit more dicey. They're going to be in East Lansing on Tuesday, taking on Michigan State. So a couple of top-ranked teams will square off at the Breslin Center, and Ohio State going to feel confident heading into that one. They are now 15-0 on the year. They win this one going away over Nebraska. 84-53 is the final score. Nebraska still looking for their first conference win. They'll take on Michigan on Thursday. Stay tuned. More Big Ten hoops coming up. We've got Penn State taking on Illinois from Champaign. For Jim Jackson and our entire BTN crew, I'm Eric Collins saying so long, everybody. Once again, Ohio State beats Nebraska. Now let's send you to the studio.